Hey, good morning. Tim Berenga here from WorkSaver, and today we're going to be working with the skid steer rotary brooms. Now, the first thing I want to show you here is that when you first hook up a broom to your power unit, you need to check to see if it's level. So we're sitting on level concrete right now, and we exaggerated this a little bit, but you'll see that the broom isn't sitting level. So if you went out and tried to use the broom without leveling it, one side's going to be wearing the bristles out a lot more than the other side if you're trying to get an effective sweep. So leveling the broom is basically the first step when you hook your broom up to your power unit. All right, so to level our broom, we have 3 bolts in the back of the mount that are slotted on each end. So as you loosen them, you don't want to take the nut off, you just loosen them, and then we can level this broom, and then we'll retighten it, and then we're ready to go to the next step. Well, now that we have the broom leveled up, the next step is to grease all the pivot points and the bearings. You've got a bearing on each side of the rotor. On the drive, you have 2 bearings underneath the inspection cover, and then on the pivot, you have 2 grease zerks there. So you want to give them each a couple pumps of grease. And then it's time to switch this from transport mode into operation mode. And what I'm talking about is up here we have 2 chains. We have just a regular chain, and then we have one with the spring. The regular chain is for transportation and hauling the broom. That way, as you're going down the road, if you hit bumps and you get dynamic loading, it's just the chain and you're not overexerting the spring. So to switch this from transport to operational, we'll put our front stands down, take the pressure off the broom, loosen this chain up, and get this chain tightened to the position that we want. Okay, we'll go ahead and pick this up a little bit. Basically, you want the spring to have a little bit of tension on it, and when the mount is level. And go ahead and tip forward a little, Kev. And that looks really good. The mount is level. The reason we want the mount level is as we're angling the broom left and right, if you're at a pitch, that'll raise one end and lower one end. So if you have the mount level, as this broom rotates, it'll stay level in the plane of operation. So we'll go ahead and raise our stands up. I'll get off there. Okay, with WorkSaver skid steer brooms, we have a flow divider valve here. And what this does is a lot of our people, when you go to size the motor for the power unit, you have to pick a low flow, mid flow, or high flow. Well, with WorkSaver, we only allow 16 gallons a minute maximum to go to the motor. Everything else will get returned to your power unit. That way you just have one motor, makes ordering a lot simpler. Now with our flow control divider valve, something that is also beneficial is most of your compact track loaders and wheeled skid steers, you got to have the engine RPMs fairly high to be able to traverse at a reasonable rate, not a lot of bogging down the motor. So with the WorkSaver flow control divider valve, we can go from full off to full on, and then any increment in between. So if you're working around buildings or vehicles or glass windows, you can slow the rotation of the broom down, but still keep your RPMs up on the machine so that it traverses in a nice smooth manner. So we'll go ahead and run this. So we can loosen the valve here, and we can go, like I said, that's full off, or we can go full on, and anywhere in between there. And anyway, go ahead and rev the engine up, Kev. So you'll see as he revs the engine up, our RPMs increase, so we can slow this down to whatever speed we want to operate this at. And then we have a thumb button here to lock it down and hold it in position. Okay, another thing that we have hooked up is that the brooms do come with manual angle kits, so where if you want to change the left or right, you can get out of the machine, pull a pin, set the angle, pin it, and then go back to work. Most people like to go with the hydraulic option, that way you can do everything inside the cab. So we have our electric solenoid kit because the primary function is running the broom, but when we need to angle, we can divert oil through this coil and angle the broom 20 degrees left or 20 degrees right. Now WorkSaver also has the most common 14-pin connectors. That way you can use in-cab controls. But for older machines that don't have 14-pin, we do have a manual harness that'll run from the coils inside the skid steer and then it'll connect to either the battery or your 12-volt hot point if you have a cigarette plug in the machine as well. And that's our solution for machines that don't have 14-pin connections. But for the G here, we do have the 14-pin hooked up, so Kevin can use in-cab controls to angle this left or right. Now here in central Illinois, we had about an inch of snow last night, so we have a nice base layer of ice and slush, and then a little bit of fluffy snow on top, and that's what we're going to be working in today. With the brooms, we have shown here a poly wire combo. So WorkSaver offers the brooms in a poly wire combo are all poly. The difference is the poly does your sweeping. That's what's going to push the material out of the way. Your wire does the cutting. So with having a little bit of ice on the ground, the wire is going to cut through that, and the poly is going to push it out of the way. The old poly option, where those are used primarily, are in livestock operations where you can't have any metal around the livestock, or in airport environments where you can't have any metal around turbojets or jet engines themselves. All right, so when the broom's running and you engage the ground, you only want to have about 2 to 4 inches of sweeping width. Any more than that, you're putting a little too much down pressure on the bristles, and you can prematurely wear them out. Now earlier I made a mistake. I said 20-degree angle left and right. Kevin corrected me. The brooms are 30-degree left and right angle. So we'll go ahead and slowly lower this down until it engages. And it doesn't take much, and then we just start moving forward. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll see that the wire will cut through the ice, and then the poly is going to sweep everything out of the way. And like I said, we got a little bit of forklift traffic out here, so some of this is kind of packed down. So if you go slower, you can get the tracks out, but just for what we're doing here today, we're just trying to get the majority of the snow off. We'll get to the end of our run, we lift up, increase the angle a little bit so we can throw it more to the side, but that of course takes our width out a little bit. A little low. And on our front loader brooms, we have it set up to where you can put a gauge wheel kit on here, and that really helps and assists you, because on the skid steer, you know, I'm sitting right over the top of this, I can see what's going on, but when you're on a tractor, you know, you're about 8 more feet away, 8 to 10 more feet away, so by having the gauge wheels on there, that'll help control the height of the broom and make sure that you don't put too much downforce on the broom as you're operating it. Yeah, we go right along the edge of the concrete. You can see in no time at all, you can get the snow off the concrete, so your forklifts or tractors or whatever you're using can keep operating and won't get stuck and won't be slipping and sliding and creating a danger. Now we do make these brooms in different widths. This is a 7-foot, and we also offer it in a 5 and 6-foot wide model as well. Try not to cover the videographer here. I'm married to her, so I don't want her covered in snow. She'll get upset with me.